Okay, in this video, rather last video, we talked about the blame game. We talked about how it worked and how people use it to disempower themselves, empower things that they don't like, and solve for the feelings of confusion and uncertainty. Blame game is really great at giving you a sense of righteousness, giving you a sense of clarity, like, they are the problem, or the circumstances are the problem, or anything outside of myself is the problem. But downside of that is that to get that clarity, you have to take a hit in responsibility. And in taking that hit of responsibility, you are giving up power to things outside of yourself. Totally reasonable thing to do if it works. I'm only making this video because I've heard and really seen in my own life a lot of the ways in which it does not work. So today, right now, rather, we're going to talk about the anti-blame game. In the anti-blame game, you could say that it's the opposite, but really it's a matter of being willing to delve down into what it is you can actually take responsibility for and generate effective action. So if the win condition of the blame game is to find someone to blame, to give power to, and then ultimately destroy, the anti-blame game is, can I find something that I can do that's in alignment with my goals in relation to the problems that show up in my life? So we're going to use my own life as an example. One of the problems that has showed up in my life is that there are people who have raised their hand. They've said, yes, I would like to help. Again, allies. Who then, when I reach out and be like, hey, you said you want to help, like, let's go do the thing, end up not being able to help. And because I personally do not like the blame game, I cannot make the appropriate shame move that might get them to do the thing. I just don't like it. It's not my jam. But it's still something I have to solve for. It's still something that the problem still exists. And so in the anti-blame game, the win condition is, again, one effective action. So first you got to find out what the problem is. Okay, the problem is that I've got people that said they want to help and they're not helping. And the next stage in the anti-blame game is to go deeper. The issue with the blame game is that typically it doesn't go to deep root causes. If you go to deep root causes, you usually end up finding out that the thing that you're blaming isn't as responsible as you want. There are some people who are very good at this particular version of the blame game because they can spend all their time understanding all the complexities for why everything is going weird, only to find out at the deepest sort of metaphysical level that the universe is kind of chaotic and random, that there's no fault for anything. It's all a random set of circumstances that emerged on the other side of the Big Bang. Unless you are a religious person, and then it's God decided it to happen. Either way, you're going to ultimately find a deeply disempowering answer at the bottom of that inquiry. But if you dig down deeper into what the problem is for you specifically, you end up finding new, interesting things. For me, it was the feeling of helplessness. That's the real problem that I was dealing with. If I had all these people who weren't going to help me and I didn't feel helpless, well, I'd probably just go, all right, I'll just do it myself. Don't really have a problem. That wasn't true for me. For me, I was like, and it's not okay that I'm helpless. It's bad that people are saying they're going to help and then they're not going to help. That's bad. I don't like it. Okay, great. I'm there. I've got the problem. And I've delved down deeper to even the juicier version of it, which is I'm deserving of help if I'm feeling helpless. And so then I get to look at, okay, well, let's take the problem and let's reframe it. Let's say the problem is not a problem. It is a feature. It is designed by someone. We don't even need to get into who designed it yet. That is a part of the game, but we're just going to say that this isn't a problem. This is a feature. What would the feature of my own felt sense of helplessness be? Well, the easiest answer is, now I know I am without help. I actually get the certainty, the responsibility, the thing. I'm like, well, I am without help in this moment. Okay. That means I do truly have to do this on my own. Or it could be that the type of help that was being offered maybe was too vague. Maybe people actually weren't enrolled in the help when they said that they were going to help. Maybe there's some problem going on in the nature of communication asking for help. There is. I'm writing a whole book about this, but let's say that that's also true. Okay, great. Well, I can take action in two of those situations. First off, I can continue working on things alone, temporarily, while also taking steps to say, what are better, more effective ways to ask for help that brings people up? There's a third problem that emerged. Maybe I just don't know that many helpful people. Maybe I might have to go out of my own circumstances and find new people who've demonstrated that they're able to do the help that I'd appreciate. Great. Even just at that level, you've already got actions that you can take that require you to blame no one. I mean, you could still do it if you wanted, but you know you're going to be doing it for different reasons. But it's still important to then ask, okay, if this feeling of helplessness was designed, if it was created intentionally for me to get at those new solutions, who designed it? In this case, this is where it gets very metaphysical, spiritual, philosophical. It becomes a very much more interesting game in that regard, but we're going to keep it simple. I designed it. My body, the collection of experiences, beliefs, values that I have, decided that in the space of not getting the help that I've pre-decided that I wanted, that I should have this feeling of helplessness to solve that problem. Actually, when I take full responsibility over my feelings, I know that I'm the one who produced them. Now, I didn't do it consciously. This is definitely a subconscious process. This is the type of shadow work that we do in the Mastering the Game of Allyship system. But being able to structurally, in a step-by-step process, come back to the fact that's just like, oh yeah, that's on me. I did that. I did it and forgot it. I can blame myself for having forgotten it. Not that useful. I've got the information that I need and I can move forward. But making sure that all of your blame can come back to you and learning to metabolize that blame feeling. It's just like, it is not a bad feeling to have helplessness. In fact, it's a very good feeling. It's a designed feeling. This was the thing that allowed me to get to the next step, honoring that feeling and then moving on, knowing that that feeling is a few steps below whatever it is that I think my problem is. So go out there, try playing with the anti-blame game. Play with them back to back. They both kind of start with the same thing of identifying a problem that you have, but see which one feels better, which one gets you to where you want to go. If the blame game's working for you, love it. Keep doing it. If the anti-blame game works, amazing. Let me know. Let me see how it works for you.